trying to be more efficient, but tired of overly simple ideas like turn off your notifications. Like, yeah, thanks. Well, here are five maybe more unconventional or controversial strategies for how to be more effective at work. First, start by doing nothing at all. This isn't advice that you hear very often from the productivity bros, but let me tell you, one of the best ways to be more productive is to actually get out of that frenetic, crazy, too many thoughts in your head mode that you're in and try doing nothing. I did this recently on a plane. I spent about the first 45 minutes of the trip doing a meditation, literally doing nothing, even though I had so much to get done. And by about 30 minutes into the meditation, I was noticing I was having all of these intrusive thoughts. It wasn't great for the meditation, but what I realized is when I just gave my brain a chance to rest, I came up with so many great ideas for the work I had to get done. When I finished, opened my laptop and out it all came. So sometimes being more efficient at work means starting by doing nothing. Clear the decks for your brain. Number two, you hear this advice, swallow the frog first, do the really hard thing. Ugh, I don't know about you, but I don't want to swallow a frog. Instead, I just focus on getting things rolling. Instead of focusing on the finish line, I focus on the start line. How do I just get moving? So for me, I promise myself, especially before doing something I really don't want to do, I say, you just need to work on it for 15 minutes. That's all. Now, I know 15 minutes is definitely not going to get the task done, but if I make a deal with myself that I only have to work for 15 minutes, I can't think of a single time where at the 15-minute mark, I've shut my laptop and been like, well, that's it. Because once you've been going for 15 minutes, even if your fingers are typing crap or maybe the task is to do something physical, whatever it is, 15 minutes in, you've got some momentum. So instead of worrying about getting to the finish line, worry about getting off the start line. Just start moving. Third thing, when I watch people work, I notice what they're doing is they're grabbing an entire task and just jumping into it all at once. Okay, let me think a little bit about this first slide of my presentation. Now let me go on the internet and research what's there, and then let me go find the right clip art image. And they're moving between the first task, which is to figure out what you're solving for and come up with the structure. The next task, which is to come up with the research or the evidence or the content for what you're doing. The third task to actually produce, and the fourth task, which is to edit, this sort of flow of getting a piece of work done. And they're mixing all of those pieces up. So we know that the way our brain works is we're better if we batch similar tasks. So instead of doing the ideation, the planning, the researching, the actual production, and the cleaning up, doing that kind of all in this big jumble, much more effective if you start with, okay, what is this about? Do that piece without opening any windows on your computer. Keep those windows open on the computer restrained to that very small section where you're doing research. You're way less likely to go off on these wild goose chases or tangents, and way more likely to be efficient. Fourth thing, again, I think a lot of what people think of as being really efficient is getting this 100% thing done across the finish line, amazing. Well, one of the reasons you're inefficient is the vast majority of tasks that you do don't need to be done to 100%. Most of them only need to be done to 80%. So what if you were to set a timer, think of it like a game show, and get to 80% as fast as you possibly can? Just what are the big things? Let me get in the big, these 5 points account for the vast majority of what's happening with our customers if I cover those. Sure, there's 10 other things that maybe only have this much to do with anything. Well, good. Just worry about the first set. So how can you think about getting to 80% as quickly as possible? The fifth strategy, stop and question whether the last 20% is necessary at all. At the very least, separate the last 20% from the 80%, probably give your brain a break, move around, do something to kind of get out of that first production mode and come back to, okay, what are the fine details or things? So at the very least, create a break. But in that break, ask yourself, does the other 20% even need to be done? I'll give you an example. A lot of people get 80% done on something they're going to share with their team. And the 80% is got all the right headings, I've got the right examples, I've got the right data in there. And the 20% is like literally like cleaning it up or putting in images, or it's stuff that if you ask yourself, it's actually not necessary and doesn't create much value at all. So I know it's counterintuitive, but some of being really, really efficient is just deciding on what's the 20% that doesn't need to be done at all. So if you want to work efficiently, surprisingly, start by doing nothing and stop being fixated on getting across the finish line and just be fixated on starting to create movement off the starting line. That's going to make a big difference. Think about the different phases of the task and split them up so that you're not going down goose chases and getting distracted, going off on tangents, by mixing up a very, very different mindset of generating ideas from a mindset of really pounding them out. Get to 80% as fast as you can, and then ask yourself, does the 20% even need to be done? These are some controversial, but I promise you effective ways for going a lot faster and being more efficient in your work.